Art is too important not to share. Welcome to the Allie and Callie Artcast.
Hi, I'm Allie.
And I'm Callie. Welcome to the Artcast.
Yes, welcome. We are back again.
Yes, here we are in our studio, which happens to be my house.
Yep. It was a little chaotic when we got here, but it's
always chaotic
down
at the Cabe house. Casa de Cabe. Not only do we have, dogs, grandchildren, we have a naked painter.
Yes, the view out the window is lovely.
Yeah, the house painter. He's doing a fabulous job. Our house, when we first bought it, was Pepto-Bismol pink.
Really?
It was pink. It was not a great color.
You know what color our house was when we moved in?
What?
32 years ago?
What?
I called it baby poop.
So we are all about indigestion and bad colors. So, and then after that, we painted it this kind of a, I don't know, it was like a dark brown. It was not even a great color, but we had a red roof at the time, so we didn't have a lot of choices. So anyway, I'm thrilled with the work he's done. Yay. Naked man outside our window. He does have pants on. But it's just funny. We're like talking, and then every once in a while you see like just half naked man walking. It's a little distracting, but we're having a good time anyway.
Yeah.
And also we have a new dog.
Yes, you do.
Who's adorable.
Little Piper.
I just want to say I was bullied into it. My husband's a whiner and a complainer for the last 7 or 8, 9.
We haven't complained about our husbands in a long time.
I think it's about damn time.
I think it
right?
is too.
So Mr. Stu has been complaining when I want a dog like Milo, my son's dog, who's a an Aussie Doodle. And I know he's a great dog. So I was like, no, we're not getting another dog. We have 2 14-year-old dogs. It's not fair. And no, I'm not doing it. I won't. And I refused. I refused up to the day of his birthday. Wow. And we're having a garage sale on his birthday. And at 1:00 in the afternoon, I show my future daughter-in-law the picture of this Bernedoodle. Mm-hmm. And she goes, oh, I'll go get it. And I said, no. And then I show it to my son. He goes, oh, you would make Dad so happy.
Oh, boy.
He's like, come on, Mom, come on. I was like, oh. And then Maddie goes, she is really cute, but Mom, it's okay. You don't. And I was like, oh my God. And then meanwhile, Stu's complaining like, well, I kept hoping you guys would just show up with a dog, and then what did we do? 3 hours later, there's a freaking dog in my house. The puppy. It's very cute.
That really reminds me of when Kevin showed me the picture of Wrigley when he was a puppy and then was so surprised that I wanted to go get him.
Yeah.
It's like, don't show photos of dogs if you don't want them.
That's what happened. That showed the damn cute dog, and I'm like, here I have another one for the next 15 years of my life. Anyway, I love animals. It's the pooping and the peeing and the potty training I'd like to be on a vacation for.
Yeah.
And I'd like to come home and have
a perfect dog.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
She's very lovable, though. Her name
She's very cute.
Is Eleanor Piper Rigby. Because my granddaughter, we were throwing out names and we started calling her Piper. And she can't say Rigby, so it's Piper. And she's very cute. So that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. What's new with you?
What's new with me?
Your mom's coming.
My mom is coming.
Yeah, that's fun.
It's going to be fun. She gets to meet her newest granddaughter. Mm-hmm. And Georgia Goldie.
But also
great-granddaughter.
Also named
Oscar.
Which I love.
Because my 4-year-old grandson loves the movie Ghostbusters, and Oscar is the baby in it.
I just love that. Just want to remind her that the baby is a girl. But
it is a girl.
But I love the name
Hendrix
Oscar.
Doesn't care.
I know. I love that.
I know. I think it's
so
funny.
Cute. Well, speaking of movies. We have another guest that we've actually had on before.
Yes.
We're so thrilled to have Caden Butera back.
Yes.
Hey.
everybody.
Hello, welcome back.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
We're so excited to hear more about all your film adventures and premiere.
Premiere
of your movie.
So the last time we spoke to you, you were still in production of this film, but since then it's been released.
Correct. Yeah, no, that's an exciting step forward. It kind of felt like it was never going to happen, you know? It was, a long stretch of time where people would ask, is your movie ready? And I would have just the same answer forever. So it feels so good to actually be here and be like, yes,
it's
happened.
Done.
People
did it.
have seen it.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to talk about it.
So is it a full-length feature film?
That's correct, yeah. It's a full-length sci-fi thriller, and we shot it all here locally in Coeur d'Alene, in Spokane, a little bit in Sandpoint, with just about all local people.
You have a couple of stars in it.
Yeah, we do have a few stars, and the movie's called Recollection, and so it stars, in addition to some really talented local people, we have Eric Roberts, who's an Oscar-nominated actor, brother of Julia Roberts, and we've got Falk Henschel, who played Hawkman on the DC comic book show. We got Cesar Garcia. He had some roles in Breaking Bad. The great late Gary Graham, who people might know from Robot Jocks and from Star Trek Enterprise. So we've got some fun, familiar faces in here, but at the center of it really is a lot of just amazing local talent as well.
That's awesome.
And you wrote the script, didn't you?
I did. So I wrote it with my main collaborator, my brother, actually. So Rylan Butera, my younger brother, is my go-to guy to co-write things with, and he also happens to be the composer of the film, which is not typically a combo you see, writer / music composer, but he manages to make it work pretty well. I'm biased, obviously, but I think he's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I heard on your website, you have a whole list of his compositions.
Yeah.
And I listened to quite a few of them today, and they're pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's a really talented guy. He can, in my opinion, tackle like any genre. Like this movie here, there's a lot of synths, a lot of synthetic sounds to match the kind of dystopian sci-fi feel, but then he can also take a full left turn and do full orchestral, like John Williams style stuff, which he's done in the past. We did a Western a while back, just nice full sweeping like horns. I really believe that he's just a man of many musical hats. So it's really fun working with the brother,
Yes,
exactly.
Yes, I bet.
Yeah.
And where did you premiere this?
So we thought long and hard about where we wanted to premiere this. There's, obviously literally thousands of festivals all over the world. Not to say that we can get into all of them, but we submitted to a lot of them. We kind of weighed the pros and cons of what if we debuted somewhere in LA or in Montana, you pick. And we kind of realized that we should have our premiere in our hometown, or the closest thing to it. We had it in Spokane, Washington, so we could have all the people who I've been talking to in person, and all the people who worked on it, and all their family and their friends and their dogs, everyone who's heard about it locally was able to come to it. So we had it premiered at SPIF, which is the Spokane International Film Festival, and we managed to sell out a 700-seat auditorium.
Wow,
so, awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, no, it was really exciting. You bump into people and they go, "Oh, I can't wait to see your movie," and you kind of go, "Yeah, right, sure," But when they actually,
they show up.
Yeah, it was
great.
Really exciting. We got seemingly really good reception. Not that anyone who hated it maybe would have come up to me and told me. But we got a good reception. We ended up walking away with 2 awards from that premiere, which is really exciting.
What kind of award?
We won the Best Northwest Feature and then the Audience Choice.
Those sound like pretty big awards.
It was really exciting. It really was. And then since then, we've gone on to play in 2 other festivals. So we went to Desertscape in Utah, which we won the Best Writing Award, which is really exciting. And then we just came back from JDIF, which is in Dubuque, Iowa, where we also won the audience choice, which is
Yay!
really exciting.
So that's good.
Yeah, it's been really exciting to see people actually take to the movie. You know, you never know. You kind of make this in a bubble. You know, you try your hardest to talk to people about like what they think, get their honest feedback. But at the end of the day, you're relying on your own tastes and instincts. It isn't until you actually put it out there do you get to hear what people actually think. So.
Right.
So what happens next? Do you keep going through festivals? Are you trying to get a distributor? I mean, I don't know the film world very well.
Well, you nailed it.
Okay, there you
go. Yes to both of those things. So we are still doing the film festival circuit. So we've submitted to a couple more festivals. We're waiting to hear back. We've got a few on the books, which we can't announce yet because it's not official. But we are hopefully looking to land in a few other places, and then in tandem we are also trying to land on a platform somewhere. So you land distribution, and then that distributor typically hooks you up with a platform. And that sounds kind of confusing because most people think of that as one and the same.
Right.
Like Netflix, for instance,
right,
is a platform, but it also is a distributor. At the same time, and hopefully I don't get too in the weeds here, you can land with a distributor who will send you to Netflix, the platform, if that makes any sort of sense.
Right.
So the goal is to land with a distributor who likes our movie, hopefully is willing to give us a decent paycheck for it, and then they will hook us up with a platform, whether that's Hulu, Tubi, Netflix, you name it.
Right.
And then at that point, once it's on a platform, you'll be damn sure we'll be shouting from the rooftops and telling everyone, please go see our movie.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
It'll be out there.
So will you be at a festival that's relatively local that those of us that live here that missed the first time around can go see it?
Yes, that's an excellent question. So it's not official yet, and once it is, again, I will be announcing it on top of rooftops everywhere, screaming,
right,
go see this. We have an upcoming local festival that I feel like we have a decent chance in getting in. Don't want to be presumptuous. That is coming up within the next month or so. If we get in, it would be late September, and that would be premiering in Coeur d'Alene. And so it'd be really cool to get all the people who missed our Spokane premiere to attend that.
That'd be awesome.
We will be there.
Yeah.
For all your screen printing needs, trust the local you can count on. Pyramid Printing has been a Coeur d'Alene favorite for over 2 decades.
Specializing in screen printing, embroidery, signs, banners, and stickers. For all jobs, big and small, just give Eric a call.
Email us at info@pyramidprintingcda.com or give us a call at 208-664-0254.
pyramidprintingcda.com.
Ever feel like work and life are pulling you in opposite directions?
You are not alone. That's why we created Thrive, Learn, Connect, a podcast where personal growth meets professional success.
Each week, we share real conversations, insights, and actionable takeaways to help you navigate life and work with more ease, joy, and purpose.
Whether it's managing stress, building better relationships, or finding balance, we are here to help you thrive.
Listen to Thrive, Learn, Connect wherever you get your podcasts, because growth starts with connection.
This is really interesting talking about the platforms because, we see a lot of movies on Netflix and Hulu
all of them,
and all of those.
The streaming.
But how do you get it to the big screen?
Right. That's a great question. I mean, we're living in the kind of streaming platform apocalypse, right? Where pretty much everything is on streaming, or if it goes to theaters, even big movies, they're getting a shorter theatrical run than ever before because it's getting dumped right to Disney Plus the moment they can, you know?
Right.
So, we're definitely living in a world where we're dominated by streaming as opposed to theatrical. And especially for the indie world, that's kind of where they thrive more. Not to say that you can rule it out. And again, to be clear, I am not as equipped to answer this question as, say, someone who like our producer on this film, but it is definitely possible to get a theatrical run, and there are certain distributors who will push for it, like a limited theatrical run, as in like a few smaller limited chains in certain select areas. Not like you get to see it every single AMC you walk into, the way you would when like a Star Wars movie comes out.
Right.
So there's always a chance that we could get a limited theatrical run in tandem with a streaming deal. We're not ruling it out. We just know that as far as what to expect, we're more likely to land streaming as opposed to theatrical.
Sure. And is there, well, I can see that there's a benefit to doing both, but is there, I mean, it just seems like streaming is the way to go these days. You actually might make more money that way.
I mean, it's the theaters, and this is a whole other conversation I'll try not to get too in the weeds on. Like a lot of people you talk about how just the theater, movie theaters in general are dying, you know, which is, I mean, it's not completely true because obviously we're still getting big theatrical
releases,
releases that are still bringing in bank. That being said, you know, the types of movies that people want to go see in the theaters are really large tentpole spectacle driven movies. Like there was a time where, you know, a movie would come out that was like a small scale thriller drama and it had a star you liked and you're like, oh, I want to see that in theaters. Nowadays, unless it's, and I'm speaking broadly here, but unless it's like Avatar 2, you see a trailer for a small contained thriller drama, you'll go, oh, I can watch that in my living room.
Right.
You know, which is, you know, I'm not holding anyone against it, but it is also sad because that means now the only movies that are allowed to play in theaters are the $200 million superhero movies. Like that seems kind of unfair, right?
Yeah.
But I'm guilty of it too. You know, like if it's got big explosions in it, I'll see that on the big screen. If it's a smaller movie, like maybe the one we just made, you could argue like, oh, maybe it's better to watch that one on streaming. But you know, if I was speaking from my heart, I would argue that, you know, any movie that's good is worthy of
a big
screen. You know,
absolutely.
So yeah, it's definitely changing. It just kind of means that if you're gonna have a big theatrical run, you have to be a big $100 million+ movie. You know, and that's kind of, you know, it's kind of depressing.
Yeah, I know. But maybe it will make it on some, and that would be really cool.
Yes, no, of course. And I would argue that our movie, it does actually have, despite being definitely made on the indie level as opposed to, like I said, a $200 million studio budget. I'm not going to disclose our budget, but, you know, it's smaller than that.
Yeah.
I would argue that ours still has a level of spectacle and things that you can get out of on a big screen as opposed to watching it on your laptop, you know? At the end of the day, though, it's story is what matters, whether you're watching it on your TV or on a big screen. As long as the characters and the story is unfolding in a compelling way to you, I'm not going to gatekeep how you watch it.
That's good.
Well, anybody could go onto recollectionmovie.com and see the trailer and judge for yourself if you think that it's, you know, spectacular enough to see.
Thank you. I need to have you follow me around and be my marketing PR person, because that was an incredible segue for me. Yes, you are 100% correct. We have our official website up where if you go to recollectionmovie.com, you can not only see the trailer for our movie and a bunch of exciting info about it, but you can also sign up for our emailer if you want to know right away when we are on a platform or when we have exciting news.
Yes.
Instead of waiting for, you know, the social media circuit to find you, we can email you right away once we
I love that.
Something.
I think that's great.
It's good. Keep it fresh.
Thank
you.
So
what else are you working on now?
I have a creative sickness where I can never
I love it. Should we all have that?
I'm pretty sure we do.
We
it's
do,
just a different
but
kind.
it is.
It's an artist disease.
I know. I love it. What do you have? Well, I've got this. Yeah.
Right. Like, I don't know about you guys, but, you know, once I finish a big and creative endeavor, I don't just sit down and twiddle my thumbs forever. You know, I have to, like, for better or worse, jump right into the next thing.
Yeah.
Next.
So as we are actively shopping this one around, and we have gotten a few deals so far, haven't locked anything in yet, so nothing official to share. But as we go through the festival circuit and with the distribution situation, we are already writing the next feature.
Yay.
In fact, we've written a draft already. Nothing to share about it yet. It's definitely on the down low, but really excited about the idea of doing another one, assuming we get that opportunity.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it another sci-fi?
It does have a sci-fi element to it. It does have maybe a bit of a horror element to it as well. I can't share too much more than that for now, just
Fair
because
enough.
I don't want to put anything into the ether just to have it fall apart and I look like a fool,
You said.
It's just another reason for us to have you back.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'd love to come back and talk about it.
There you go.
Yeah. We're just right now in the stage where we're looking for, funding and stuff like that.
Of course.
It's a tricky thing. We live in Coeur d'Alene. I love Coeur d'Alene. We have an incredibly supportive community, but we also do have a more conservative community. You tell someone like, hey, we're looking to make a horror movie, and some people go, they kind of clutch their pearls, you know? So we are looking to finance this next one, in theory, within the community with some private investors, which is how we got the last one off the ground. It will be a little trickier, though, based off maybe the content.
Right.
I never, Paradox Studios, that's my company. We never try to do anything that's just distasteful or violent for the sake of violent. But, you make a horror movie, it's going to have horror elements, you know? So it might be a harder sell, but putting that out there.
Do you think that with the success, the upcoming, which I know you're going to have success with Recollection, do you think that will help you sell the next one?
I would really hope so. Yeah. I'd like to think that Recollection, granted, I know every single problem with it because, I've seen it 287 times to the point where it's not even a movie to me anymore. But I am undeniably proud of this movie, and I think it's not just a really cool calling card for me and my brother and my family, because we all produced this together, but I'm so proud of, every artist's work is on display in this movie, in my opinion, in a really strong light. Our local art department people, our local actors, our non-local actors. Right. It's not a perfect film. There is no perfect film. But I am so proud of the work that's on display in this movie, and I'd like to think that if the average person or the average investor watches this film, it can prove that we've moved beyond my backyard homemade movies, where I started.
Proof is in the pudding, right?
Yeah. Speaking of some of those backyard,
we've watched a few of
yes,
those.
we have.
No.
Okay, so
I really need to sanitize.
John Thick,
yes,
a John Wick parody. I laughed
hilarious
all the way through it.
Yes.
I'm so glad you watched it.
We have to tell people, just go to the website
and you'll see these
they're
movies.
Great.
They're really fun, and there's
shorts.
so many different ones. So you have one that's called Dead Men Ride Again.
That's right.
Where did you film that? Because it's a great Western.
Yeah. So that was the Western I had alluded to very briefly earlier. Yeah, it's a zombie Western movie that we shot in Coeur d'Alene. Right now the trailer is up on my channel, which is just my first and last name, Caden Butera, and hopefully we're going to drop the full short soon. We had it go on a festival circuit, so it's done and pretty much ready for online release. Stay tuned for that. But yeah, we built a Western town from scratch in an empty field in Coeur d'Alene.
Wow.
That was a couple years ago. That was in the middle of the pandemic, where we had a bunch of artist people who were all kind of, twiddling their thumbs. Everything they had was canceled.
Yeah.
And it was like the hottest summer ever, but we somehow convinced them to swing a bunch of hammers and
make a wild Western.
Yeah. So
zombies.
That was a fun project.
Yeah.
Well, I was pretty impressed with the set. It was pretty cool.
Thank you.
That little bit that you have, it's pretty cool.
Thank you. No, that's and again, shout out to our art director Kathy Swanson, who again, local person, family friend, and went on to work on Recollection with us. We built that western town from a bunch of scrap wood, and like we would go on like Facebook Marketplace, find out someone was selling their fence, and we turned that fence into like a general store shop.
Oh, wow.
So,
hey, do you need any wood, Caden? I've got some wood.
That's right.
if you would tell me that when we were building it, I would have jumped at it.
Well, your next movie, if you need any wood, I've got
That's
wood.
right.
I will keep that in mind, honestly.
Okay, I do have a question about the one that's called Recursion.
Yes.
Or Dust.
Yeah, so Recursion was a sci-fi short that we made that actually got picked up by the distributor Dust. So Dust is it's a sci-fi channel that started on YouTube, but they also have their own website now. And we made a sci-fi short just for fun in like 2018, and then put it on my channel, and it got a decent amount of views, and then like a year passed, and then Dust slid into my email and was like, hey, we'd like to buy this and put it on our channel.
Wow.
So that was really cool.
Oh, cool.
It was also an interesting lesson in when I release something on my channel, the comments are a lot more kind than when a channel puts up a video from a stranger. Suddenly people will speak with a little more more honesty. So yeah, I'm pretty good at not taking it personally.
Yeah.
But like we made the Recursion for, I think it was like $300.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
200 of that was to buy everyone sandwiches for the days we were shooting. The whole point of the project was to make things out of nothing. So like their space suits are made out of like the painter suits from Home Depot that we spray painted tan. And then like their space helmets are like welding masks that we put like random tubes on, that was the fun of it. And people noticed in the comment section, like, wow, I can't believe that blah blah blah. Is like, okay.
That reminds me of that channel, that Mystery Space 1000.
Mystery Science Theater 3000. Yes.
It sounds like it should have been on that.
Yeah. Well, we deserved every comment we got, but they were some of them were real. But
you know what? How fun on a budget. I always think of like Steven Spielberg's first movies, in his backyard,
Yeah, that's how you got to do it.
It starts somewhere. So,
absolutely.
Hey, naysayers.
That's right.
Shut your pie hole.
Now I got to go watch it again so I can, because I didn't notice.
Yeah, no, good. I appreciate it.
I know, but the
that's
ending
fun.
scared me.
Oh,
good.
I didn't watch that one. I'm going to watch that one.
I was like, oh. Ooh,
good.
Got me.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun project. I mean, looking back on pretty much any project in my past, there are parts that are maybe cringe-worthy. I go, oh, definitely could have done that better. But, I'm still proud of it. But if I'm looking back on old projects and going, wow, I nailed it, then I think maybe I've plateaued.
Yes. I can't do any better than that. I should retire.
Right, exactly.
Boom, boom.
Greetings, listeners of the Allie and Callie Artcast podcasts. This is Jason from Tubbs Coffee Roasters. Keeping art alive and culture relevant is the heart and soul of our community of creatives. And as a local coffee roaster who loves a good origin story of a painter or a farmer or a musician, we proudly support the Allie and Callie's Artcast podcast's expansion and exploration through positive conversation. So grab a cup of coffee, preferably one from Tubbs Coffee Roasters, and tune in, humans. Your ears will thank you.
For those of you who maybe didn't hear the first episode that we had with Caden, tell us a little bit more about the synopsis of Recollection.
Sure. So, as I mentioned, it's a sci-fi thriller, and it takes place in a dystopia or utopia, depending on your perspective, where there's a technology exists where any traumatic memory, any minor inconvenient memory, you can just delete with the press of a button. And this technology is the norm. Everyone does it, especially our main character, Kate. But then one day she goes in for a memory cleanse and she gets all of her memories back and uncovers a conspiracy within the memory deleting company, finds out that she had a family she never even knew, and has to eventually team up with some unlikely allies and learn that these people are keeping memories and selling them to other people. And we kind of dive into questions about the validity of trauma and how it can really screw up your life, and it's a terrible thing. No one should have to experience trauma, but the reality is we do. And does that give us strength to encounter other problems in life?
Does any of it come from your mom and her background?
Absolutely. So yeah, my mother is a mental health therapist, or was until very recently. And so growing up in that household, mental health discussions were very common. Maybe more than the average household.
Maybe more than you wanted.
Yes, perhaps. But I overall am very, very thankful for that, because it gave me kind of an overall interest in the subject, and also like a basic education in the subject. That definitely inspired Rylan and I to write a script that had a psychological leniency and a mental health leniency. So
and you mentioned that it is a family business. So your parents are involved. They're producers. Your brother's the composer and co-writer. I mean,
it's a family
affair.
That's right.
I mean, that's pretty amazing. What is your background? Let's just go back to that.
And also shout out to my father for being our line producer and executive producer as well.
Right.
Yeah, my background as far as film is concerned is basically just at a very young age 10, I believe, just shooting.
That's right.
Terrible, heinous backyard movies with the neighbor kids, with my brother, anyone who would say yes, or sometimes they didn't even say yes, but forced them to do it anyway. And then just honestly through trial and error, slowly but surely getting better. At least I hope I got better. But yeah, there was definitely a crossroads where I considered going to film school or not, and I ended up, I had so much self-motivation to learn, and I was already making my own films and learning by doing that. In my specific instance, I thought it was best for me to not go to film school. So I didn't attend film school. My film school was making a lot of bad short films and learning from them, honestly, which in my opinion is one of the best ways to learn. And so my brother kind of had always been in the background of working on my films, helping me, but he didn't fully decide that I'm going to seriously consider getting involved until around he was going to college actually as pre-med for neuroscience.
Oh, wow.
He's the smart one of the family. But then pulling a real dumb move, decided to jump into film instead.
There's there's a little bit of crazy in your family, right?
You gotta have it,
That's why all those mental health discussions.
Exactly. It was really just to help my insane brother.
That's so nice.
Overall, we landed on our feet in that regard. But yeah, he decided that my main passion, I'm speaking as my brother here, my main passion is actually, it is in film. It's in music and writing music for film. So he decided to switch his major, got a degree in music composition, and he's our official composer. And then because we align so well in story, and ends up being my co-writer in the writer's room. And then my folks have just been very, very supportive from the get-go in an unofficial capacity as just parental figures. And then when I got older and there were more moving parts at play, and I actually started having to I started making a living this way and having to pay people, they actually unofficially came on as producers and then went, actually, we should make this official, because they had been doing all the tasks that a producer would do already.
Right.
And so credit to both of them for really also learning by doing. And again, we'll all admit that there's so much that we don't know, but through trial and error, they have become incredible producers, and my mother, more than anyone on Recollection, was the official unit production manager and producer, and is absolutely killing it by just tremendous amounts of research. So really in debt to both my parents for taking that up. Yeah, they're awesome people.
Well, and if anybody has a problem with it, you can just say, hey, have you produced a full-length film?
It's true, you know. Like, I think they're doing pretty good, all things considered.
And again, your studios are Paradox Studios?
That's right. Yep, ParadoxStudios.com. Yeah. If you want to go, it's ParadoxStudiosCo.com. Co for company.
Right.
Because ParadoxStudios.com was taken, but I'm not going to get into it.
Oh my God. That sounds like another episode.
Yeah.
Well, is it okay with you if we add the trailer to our Facebook page so that people can have easy access to it?
100%. I would absolutely love that.
That's so fun.
That is awesome.
I can't wait.
Well, we're going to generate some excitement for that film and get you on the big screen.
And get you on the big screen,
anyway.
and definitely we'll be there in September for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And yeah, the moment that becomes official, I'll be announcing it. And yeah, and again, don't want to be presumptuous. We might not make it in. Who knows?
Right.
But if we do, I'll be letting people know as soon as possible.
Whoever the powers that be, make it happen,
That's
people.
right. Make it happen.
Come on.
And meanwhile, like, share,
follow Allie and Callie,
or subscribe to Allie and Callie
Artcast.com.
That's right.
Oh,
and you can find us on. If they're listening to us, they've already found us. So.
Yeah. Or they're lost and they found us by accident.
That's a possibility.
Oh, well.
Anyway, thank you, Caden, for being here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
We're looking forward to the next episode when you get to tell us all about this new project you're working on.
That would be amazing.
Yes, continuing stories.
And we'd like to meet your brother as well.
Yeah,
I'd love to have
him next time.
Yeah, I know, for sure.
Absolutely.
So I'm Allie.
And I'm Callie. And whatever you do today, make sure it's creative.
Go shoot a horrible film in your backyard.
Or a really good one.
The Allie and Callie Artcast is brought to you by Tubbs Coffee Roasters, ethically sourced, locally roasted coffee, and Pyramid Printing and Embroidery, serving customers near and far for over 2 decades.